At MedsPLUS Consulting Pharmacy and Wellness Center, you're not just a number. We offer individualized care for each of our patients, plus prescription delivery and medication management.
Bringing the pharmacist back to the community, MedsPLUS Consulting Pharmacy and Wellness Center. Hello everyone. Happy Monday. And yes, now it is time for MedsPLUS Medical Minute. Today we'll be talking about allergies. How many of you saw the post this past Saturday from Birmingham's own Mayor Randall Woodfin? He sent up a prayer for all of you allergy sufferers that were having trouble breathing, having itchy throats, sneezing, and watery eyes. Have no fear. MedsPLUS has your Allergy Essentials and those quick tips for you today. And as we saw this morning, last night, we did get the rain. So thank you for the prayers. They did help. But what's going to happen once the sun comes back out? Actually, today, tomorrow, and that pollen count returns, because those numbers will rise again. So one of the things that we want to be able to talk about are what are those things that you can use to decrease your suffering from allergy season or from that pollen that many of us are allergic to. So first, let's just talk about what's happening, what's going on. So pollen is something that we react to, we're allergic to, and it can cause our immune system to over-respond to the pollen by way of creating more mucus, which is causing us to have that postnasal drip, have the nasal congestion, stuffiness, as well as the watery, running, itching eyes, just making it difficult to breathe, to see clearly, just to feel better overall. So one of the first tips I would like to talk about are nasal saline rinses. They're something that you can easily get that are pre-packaged, and you would clean out each nostril. Not much work that you have to do with the container itself. The second option is if you have a nasal rinse container, you would need to fill it with distilled water. You would not use tap water, and then you would add the saline packets to it, and then you would use that as a nasal rinse. It's best to do it twice a day if you can, or anytime before you go outside, and then once you come back home and you're in for the day, to do it again, to wash out any pollen or residue or dust that you may have that has settled in your nasal passages. So that's the first tip, is to have the saline rinse available to use. They do come prepackaged. You can mix it yourself. And there are some fancy devices out there. One that comes to mind is the nasal lavage, where you put in the water, saline, and it does it for you. So that's the first tip, is with the saline rinse. So next, let's talk about medications. So the most common medication people use for allergies are the over-the-counter non-drowsy antihistamines. Some examples of those are loratadine, otherwise known as Claritin, cetirizine, otherwise known as Zyrtec, or levocetirizine, also known as Xyzal. Those are typically only taken once a day, and it allows you to function without being drowsy, and you can continue to move along throughout your day. These also work best, especially this time of year, with a nasal steroid. Sometimes we forget about that component, but a nasal steroid helps to keep the inflammation in check and the nasal congestion down. So with the nasal steroid, we have our most common one, which is the fluticasone, otherwise known as Flonase. So you would just squirt one squirt in each nostril, typically once a day, and that should be able to provide relief. The common misconception with that is people will take it just when they're stuffy, only for maybe a day or two, and then not continue to take it. Some people need to take it, especially throughout the spring season, until the pollen settles, and we don't give it enough time on board to where we reap the best benefit. So that's another good way, paired with the antihistamine, that you can definitely get relief. One of the other common symptoms that we have with our allergies are the running eyes. So with that, you can take the antihistamine eye drops. So any of the eye drops that have antihistamine on it, those are good for the itchy, watery eyes. And I would say initially, because once you start taking the over-the-counter antihistamine as well as the Flonase, then it's going to start to calm down and you won't have to use the eye drops as much. But that's another good medication for your toolkit. So we've talked about the saline, we've talked about the medications. So what are some of those environmental things that we can do, or physically? One is to keep your windows closed at home and also in the car when you're driving, especially when the pollen counts are really, really high. That's just going to increase your exposure to the pollen. The other thing is if you're out working in the yard or just out during the day, and then when you come home, go ahead and get out of those clothes so that you're not transferring that pollen onto your living quarters, like your sofas or your bedspreads, things of that nature. Go ahead and get out of those clothes so you're not having that pollen to linger. Also with your shoes and tracking into the home, making sure you're leaving the shoes outside. That's going to help keep that pollen from getting inside where you're most comfortable. Also, paying attention to your weather app, you can actually look and see what the air quality is, how the pollen is with the apps on our phone, and then you can limit your time outdoors when it's the peak pollen hours. So having all of these allergy essentials can definitely help you breathe better and see better and taste better during this allergy season here in Birmingham. Also, after we've tried those things, some people may say, well, I do that. I have the nasal spray. I have the allergy medicine. I can't seem to get relief. Some people do have to take it a step further. Definitely want to check with your healthcare provider, or if you want to schedule a call with us for a consultation. The other option that's out there are allergy shots. Some people have to have allergy shots to keep their allergies at bay and be able to function normally during this allergy season. So that is another option that a lot of people have to take are the allergy shots. The allergy shots help your immune system not to react as much to the allergens that you're allergic to over time. And then it can help you to have to not take as much medicine as well. So those are some of the options that are out there today. And as I said before, your allergy essential kit, we have that for you here at MedsPLUS Consulting Pharmacy, your downtown pharmacist. We are located 215 Richard Arrington Jr. Boulevard North in the New South Federal Building. We are on the 8th floor and we are ready to serve you, not only for your allergy needs, but for your prescription needs. If it's too much for you to get out, we have you covered because we have delivery service as well. So reach out to us today at 205-650-4636 for all of your allergy needs. Thank you so much for joining us today on MedsPLUS Medical Minute Live, and I hope you have an awesome week. Bye-bye.
At MedsPLUS Consulting Pharmacy and Wellness Center, results matter. Empower your health journey with a pharmacy that puts you first. Plus, we offer prescription delivery and medication management.
Bringing the pharmacist back to the community. MedsPLUS Consulting Pharmacy and Wellness Center.